Okay, so today we're going to do a VOD review of one of my own games. It's a first place Void game, but VOD viewing is something that I want to try and do a little bit more often to try and get better instead of just kind of putting more and more reps in and playing game after game. And while this is first, there is almost definitely going to be things that I could have done better. And if you are watching this, then I'm sure that there are things that you might notice that you maybe would have done differently, or that I did well that you might have not. So yeah, it should be good to learn for both. What I'm doing there is I'm just checking what the Ionia is to see if it's the gold or the XP one. No real clear direction as of yet. You'll see here I pick up the Cogmore and also the Briar for the Juggernaut and Kiana for Slayers. So with a sword dropped, I'm thinking, okay, I might have to play into kind of the Slayer Belveth and then transition into the kind of melee focused 9 build. But also with Briar being a Juggernaut, if I get an early Cho'Gath, which I do, then it means I've got a pretty solid opener for Void, the 2 Jug, and also the backline. Blitzcrank got buffed. He's the best single target 1 cost, I would say. So that's why I chose them over the others. And you can see I'm also picking up Ash, and I'm keeping the Nivea, so trying to keep that kind of Freylord line open. I think something that I could consider as well is the Tryndamere Ash line. It's meant to actually be quite good. I've never really played it. But, if I get dropped, like, perfect Warwick items, then maybe I can go into the kind of the Zorn Quick Striker. And then AP items I could also move maybe towards the Freylord line. I was sat thinking about Component Buffet for a while. Just to be able to slam 2 items early. One mistake I did is I didn't open the orb. I honestly didn't notice it, so I could have held those units instead of getting rid of them. At this point, I've decided fairly early on that I'm going to try and play towards AD, Kaiser, and Void. What I should have done is scout to see if anyone else had kind of a Void opener and looked like they were going to do it, but scouting is something that I need to get better at. It's not something I do too as much as I should. Yeah, I didn't level here. Nothing's upgraded. Not really much of a chance of winning. And definitely not against a Vigo 2 anyway. Let's kind of skip ahead. Here I was thinking about leveling, but there's not really anything I could put in, so I decided against it. Lost again, which is fine. I leveled. Just I can't remember why I leveled actually. Why did I level? Oh, I just leveled on yeah, automatically leveled. Picked up the bow. This is mostly just to get it to Cho 2. And I can also make a tank item out of it, which is fine. Yeah, at this point I'm still pretty weak, so there's no way that I would kind of break econ, go under 20 to try and pump to 5. Yeah, there's just not really any benefit. There's not really anything that useful I could put in. It would be like a 1 cost with no synergies. So I'm pretty committed to trying to get a kind of 5 loss streak here. Let's skip ahead a little bit, and again, I got another loss streak. Again, there's not really anything I can put in. Nothing's really upgraded, so sticking with the 5 loss, which is fine. You see another Void player or potential Void player here, but Nash's is not really a Kaiser item, so I was thinking that maybe they wouldn't end up contesting. And then I go to 5 just to make sure I can beat the Krugs. I mean, I probably would have beat on 4 anyway, but realistically, sneaking, don't be too careful. And what I was doing there is I was trying to think in my head, and if anyone knows this, please tell me in the comments. For the Void module where you get 1 increased damage amp, I'll go back to, yeah, the Void module where you get increased damage amp. Does that count for Malzahar? Does every one of their Voidlings, when they attack, does that count for the Adrenaline modules extra damage amp per attack? I don't think it does, but if it does, it's pretty broken. And then here I'm hoping that I can try to start to win streak. I've got 2 upgraded front lines. Backline isn't upgraded and it isn't great items, but I'm hoping that I can at least potentially get a bit of a streak going. If I can get one of these 2 upgraded, then I'm not in a bad spot. I think beating the builds board is a good sign. Build is normally pretty good, and they also have kind of a 3 or maybe 4 units upgraded, so I think it does end up being not too close, which is always nice. Malzahar putting in some work, and yeah, solid start. For this, because I'm going towards Kaiser and Belveth, Darkenbow is really good on Belveth, so I just went for that straight away. I'll go back to the choices. So, Indiscriminate Killer, I just think it's a little bit underrated. Yes, I could put one on... I could put one on Kaiser and I could put one on Belveth, but I just... Yeah, I don't think it's that much of an issue. Like, if Belveth gets past the tanks anyway, they're going to shred the backline and anything. So, yeah, I chose against it. Earth's Gambit, I don't particularly like very much. Spats aren't amazing. So, I re-roll, and it's between Care Package, Magic Roll, and then I was going to pick Care Package, but saw Darkenbow, as I mentioned. It's pretty good. Again, starting to win here, but unfortunately, I do not get the 5. Yeah, which is a shame. I lost kind of quite a bit of gold there. I got the glove, which is pretty fine. Went around, good times. Now it's not ideal, because if I had just won that 1 fight, I'm on a 5 win streak here, and it's just extra gold. And with the Void comp, and you want to get to 10. I mean, I lose anyway, but having to get to 10 and having 3 forecasts that you ideally want to try and upgrade, not even counting having Swain, it's a very expensive board. Even if it was a level 8 board, it would be one of the more expensive ones, right? So, I was just a bit concerned, and I really wanted to try and preserve some health after seeing how low down Ed went. I instinctively saw Yunara, remember that Yunara was good with Darkenbow. That's probably a bit of a mistake. I probably should have just left it, and then I don't know. It was just a bit of a waste. It didn't make much difference. I lose the next fight anyway, and realistically, the fact like Gwynsu and Kraken, it's not really very good, but I thought, that might swing around, or it might kill an extra unit. Safe to say, it does not. I also noticed that one person has a Belveth, which isn't ideal. Here, Paraphors, as I mentioned, you've got 4 forecasts, it's not worth it. I'm not mad on malicious monetization. I take growth because I need to get to 8 as early as possible. With Void, getting to 8 is really important, even if you end up sacking a little bit of money, because you have to sack an entire round by unlocking Kaiser. So, unless you've got, I don't know, maybe like a 2-star version of thing could do it, but realistically, you're sacking an entire round and losing a life to unlock Kaiser, so I don't mind doing it early and being down econ a little bit, especially because you're guaranteed to get at least 1 copy. And I killed a few units, so it wasn't terrible. I immediately, I'll go back a little bit for the roll down. So I unlock Kaiser straight away, get the items on. I also get Rift Herald. I've got Rift Herald, I get 2 straight away. I don't touch these 5 costs, it's not worth it. Immediately upgrade Rift Herald, get Belveth in. 6 Void, great, good times. What I don't do in time is swap the tank items over to Rift Herald, along with the Void buff. That is just because I'm old and I don't have good APM. But luckily, we win the fight anyway with Kaiser 1 and Belveth 1, I think, anyway, if I remember rightly. Realistically, I could have lost that fight if I didn't kill the Kindred in the back, or the Callista in the back. Here, I decided just to make another item. So I decided to go for Strikers. Synergize as well with IE. Ideally, you want Shred. I can't remember when I actually get Shred in this game, but here I am just trying to get Kaiser 2 or Belveth 2. It's just important to be able to streak. I take a gamble that I'm going to win the fight. Knowing that people aren't necessarily going to be super strong. Probably going for level 9 5-cost boards. And I can not sell any of my units, wait for the win, and buy the unit. Worst case scenario here, I probably would have just sold the Malzahar and expected them to come back. You need to have all of your Void units for Baron, and then I just get lucky. Like, it is a little bit high roll. I randomly get the Belveth 2. At this point, I'm pretty solid that I can just sit and wait. I'm not far off 9. I put the Bruiser in for Rift Herald. Yeah. And I'm pretty solid for the minute. We start to win fights. Some of them are a little bit closer. Not having Bane or Shred is actually really stupid. Here, I think I made my aims wrong, to be honest. But I don't know what I could have done better. Like, I can't make Bane with any of this. So I just go for Edge of Night on Belveth, I think. No, I don't. Yeah, go for Protector's Vow, and I go for Gunblade. Gunblade's not amazing, but, I mean, it's a third item, and it's also a third item for Rift Herald, so it's not too bad. I think I wasn't amazing with my item economy in general this game, but getting dropped the Rod isn't great when I'm not really playing any ED people, so you just have to deal with it. But not terrible options. Protector's Vow is pretty good, so yeah. So what you generally expect to happen when you upgrade Void in early stage 4 is you expect to streak most of stage 4 and early stage 5 until people get online, which is generally what happens. I can't remember if I lose a fight really in most of stage 5. Here I was really thinking about getting Burn, and I think I probably should have picked up Burn, because I'm now running no Burn, no Shred, but I am checking the boards and I've realised that there's only one person who has any sort of sustained, like, a decent amount of healing on their units, like Omnivamp, and I'm like, right, it wasn't a terrible idea. I can run without it for now. All I'm thinking about here is my win condition, because I'm, 3 lives technically, but probably 2 once we get into stage 6. My win con is getting Baron. So some of these fights end up being super close, and the game could have been very different if I didn't win that one. Top 4, great, cool. I get beat here by the Shadow Isles board, which I was actually a little bit surprised about. I'm doing the classic thing of, okay, I'm going to get owned every round now, but at least I've got third, okay? It's like 10 extra LP. Thank God for the gold drop. And now I've got Baron. Now, I think I personally get a little bit unlucky here. I would have wanted to get Baron too, but I don't. But I get 3 copies of Belveth. And I get another Belveth. But I'm winning, so it's not really too much of a problem. I eventually do get Shred in on Baron, so I think that's probably fine. that I didn't pick up Burn at this point and prioritise the Baron items, because he is my win con. I see the Belveth in shop, so I'm scouting. I'm thinking, okay, I've got at least one more turn, even if I get beat. I'm thinking a potential out is Belveth 3. So I lock shop. That's probably... I mean, that probably wasn't the best idea. I think I should have focused on Baron 2. But Baron is still very good at 1, and Belveth's pretty decent, so... Especially with Dark and Bow. Honestly, I think I got bailed out a little bit here with firstly by hitting Dark and Bow, and also with the gold drops from the gold subscription and the orb drops even. Third Baron item straight away. There's no point in me even going for Burn anymore. It is not going to be settled about whether or not I have a Sunfire. Third Baron item. Pick up the Belveth, hope for all that I get it, but I don't, but I get Baron 2. My thought process now is another roll. Nope. So my thought process here is I should win on Baron 2. If I don't, I've at least got one more round to try and hit Belveth 3. They're not holding. And now I'm just... I don't even know why I'm moving my positioning around. Positioning is something I'm not amazing at. It's something that I'm going to talk. I'm going to look into coaching, so it's something I'm going to look into as one of my areas to improve. The other one is econ. As you might notice, I miss a lot of intervals this game in terms of econ. But yeah, Baron 2 is just a beast. The items on Baron, you generally want Titan's Last Whisper, but it's good enough. And yeah, so generally, I think things that I could have done better are kind of here. I think this is pointless. I think the transition round, if they had a slightly better board, or if it was just someone stronger, there was definitely like much stronger than this person in the lobby. There's a very real chance that I get cooked here, right? With my Rift Herald dying straight away, I haven't got the Void mod on it, I haven't got the items on it. Early game, I don't think there's too much more I would have done. I mean, I am hard angling for Void. Not opening the orb. Well, I didn't scout for Void, which is one thing. And also not opening the orb. When was that? Just before. I don't open... I sell everything after this group round. Or shortly after this group round. I sell everything, I don't open the orb, I can't find exactly where it is. That was probably a bit silly. But other than that, good game, good Void game. I think if you're looking to play into Void, the level 10 is so important. So if you're not on a high econ or high gold portal, or you don't have Giga econ augments, then you're really not going to be able to get there. But in general, you can, if you get voided early, you know that you're not going to end up going 10. You can kind of get your 4th or 5th and get out, like 3rd, 4th, 5th. With the upgraded forecast, you will usually win most of stage 4, if not all of it. And you should win kind of the early stages of stage 5 before people really get online. At which point you are then just going to bleed out. If you're healthy enough, you might get a 3rd, 2nd. If you're really healthy. If you're not, you're going for a 4th, 5th. Maybe a 6. And yeah, that's about it.